Okay, and I'm attempt number 2. Thank you, Halsey, for liking the post. Hopefully, I'll be able to see myself as well. Oh, there we go. I think if I tune in, get ready like 2-3 minutes before, it doesn't connect it from whatever reason. So anyway, it's all good. Let's see how you guys going today. Let's see, we had lots of problem with the internet today, so I wasn't sure if I was able to do this live until about an hour ago. So that was quite stressful. Just making sure you can hear me. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so today the technology is not my best friend. But I hope your day was better. If you're here, come and say hi. If you see it later on replay, #replay. If you're new to this group, lovely to have you here with us. I'm going live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Australia Eastern Standard Time. Tag your friends who struggle with lack of confidence, anxiety, fear, or self-doubt. Invite them to this group so they can have this training as well. If you don't know me, I'm 𝐬𝐿-𝐸. I'm a trauma therapist who help female equestrian all across Australia to become confident riders by overcoming fear, anxiety, and self-doubt. And today we're diving deep into something that affects every rider. I know it affected me as well. At some point, it's your environment, your self-doubt, your self-belief. And that's why confidence is so much more than just pushing through. So whether you're coming back after a fall or feeling overwhelmed with self-doubt or wondering, why can't I just enjoy this again? I think this one is for you. Because confidence isn't a personality trait, it's a process. And it starts with understanding what's really getting in the way. Now let's start with something we rarely stop to consider, and that is how our environment shapes who we believe we are, especially around horses. Now, when I say environment, I don't just mean the physical space. I'm talking about the culture of your riding club or your agistment. I'm talking about your peers, your parents, your trainers. I'm talking about, even early experiences with stress, safety, or even failure. So many women I work with say, I was never scared when I was younger. I said that too. Oh, I used to be so brave. And often they were riding in environments that felt supportive or at least familiar. And for me, for instance, my agistment back then was my happy place. So I felt very safe there. But now as adults, we're not just showing up as riders, we also juggling motherhood, careers, relationships, past experiences. And all those layers come with us to the saddle. So if you ever were judged harshly, or being rushed, or shamed for being nervous, or expected to perform, those messages don't just disappear, they sink into your own nervous system. And they become beliefs like, I should be over this by now, I shouldn't be scared, or maybe I'm the problem. But you're really not the problem. And let me reassure you, you're just responding to what your nervous system has learned to adapt. Especially if you grew up in harsh or critical environment, maybe with a parent, a coach, a teacher who always pointed out what you were doing was wrong, you might have unknowingly internalized a message that making mistakes equals failure, that good enough is never enough, that your value is measured by your performance. And when that becomes your inner blueprint, it doesn't just stay in childhood. It shows up in places where you deeply care, like where you're around your horse and even at work. So even though logically you know your horse doesn't need you to be perfect, emotionally it can feel like anything less than flawless is a failure. Maybe you tell yourself, I should be past this by now, or why can't I just enjoy riding like I used to? That inner pressure might be subtle or might be so loud that it pulls out any joy you used to feel in the saddle. So you start focusing on all the things that could go wrong, all the what ifs, like what if I mess up? What if the horse spooks? What if I let him down? What if everyone else says that I'm not good enough? Can you relate to that? Let me know in the comments below. By the way, do you know that feeling, that surge of what ifs that hits you as soon as you walk towards the mountain block or as soon as you get ready for a ride? You know, that tight chest, that racing thoughts, that panic rising in your throat. Everything in you wants to hurry up and get on the horse, just get over and done with. Or either walk away completely because the discomfort feels very unsettling and unbearable. You know, it's a nervous system response. Your body's saying, I don't feel safe right now. And your nervous system is running an old protective pattern, one that says, I don't feel safe here. What if I get it wrong? Or I'll be judged. I'll disappoint someone, or I'll disappoint my horse. But those beliefs were formed in response to an environment where you didn't feel safe to make mistakes, or from past events that your body hasn't processed completely yet. And the moment you think or get ready to ride, your body perceives you are still in danger. So now when fear, anxiety show up, your first instinct might be to rush or push harder or do more or try to get it right, rather than slow down and be curious and meet yourself with understanding. And the problem with that is it keeps your nervous system in a loop because instead of creating safety, it creates more pressure. And the next time you want to ride, those feelings will resurface because nothing has actually changed when we rush through them. That's why one of the first steps in my work is helping riders understand not just what they're feeling, but why. What's the reason behind that? Where did this fear start? What was your relationship with pressure, expectation, or making mistakes growing up? What does anxiety or fear connect to? Okay, so how do we do that? That's where the 3 pillars of confidence come in. So pillar number 1 is to understand why you are scared. This might sound very simple, but it's quite powerful. You can't change something you don't understand. Fear doesn't show up randomly. It's your nervous system way of protecting you from what it perceives as danger, whether that's a spook on a trail or the pressure to get it right in front of others. You know, for some riders, the fear started after a fall. For others, it was more subtle, like years of self-comparison or harsh criticism, or having to pretend they were fine where they weren't. So when your body tenses up at the thought of riding, it's not being a dramatic, it's just remembering. And you deserve to ask, what is my body trying to protect me from? Understanding your fear, it's about acknowledging that something inside of you still needs care. And during our session, I use very gentle techniques and allow you to process at your own pace without pushing or forcing. There's no right or wrong. All feelings and emotions are welcome to process the fear and understand the reason behind it. I'll give you an example. I worked with a lady who felt very anxious about riding her horse. She felt her chest tighten while she was standing on the mounting block. And we inquire what thoughts, images, or words are coming up while she's standing there. And the first word was, oh my gosh. So we kept going, and that word brought up an image that she fell off about 10 years ago. And her fear stayed in her body during all that time. And now it shows up as tension in her chest. And she thought she was afraid to ride her current horse, but the fear was from her past, just kept showing up today. So with different techniques, we were able to bring safety back to the body. We were able to process the event from 10 years ago. And at the end of the session, she was able to stand on the mountain block, feeling calm, lighter, was actually excited to go for a ride. Okay, so let's talk about pillar number 2, which is learn how to be present. This is where most advice falls short. And you've probably heard people say, oh, just relax, or be in the moment. It's easier said than done, right? When your nervous system is activated, when your heart is racing and your legs feel like jelly, you can't just allow yourself to be present. And presence is a skill, it's a trainable one. It starts with the body awareness. So can you feel your breath? Can you sense your seat in the saddle? Can you feel your toes? Can you pause without pressure? Being present isn't about perfection. It's about connection to your body, to your breath, to your horse. And being present isn't just about clearing your mind or keeping on breathing. It means your awareness is here in this moment, in this breath with this horse. It means you're not stuck in past events or swept up in future what-ifs. So from a nervous system perspective, presence is what allows you to respond instead of react. So let me explain it a bit more clearly. So when you are present and your horse spooks or gets unsettled, your body can stay relatively grounded. You might feel the surprise, but you're still able to use your aids, adjust your energy, and help your horse regulate. You are able to make decisions and not just brace or freeze in the saddle. And normally you don't go into the what-if scenarios. But when you're not present, when you're stuck in your own head and anxious about what might happen or disconnected from your body, you react. You might stiffen or grab the reins or hold your breath or completely freeze in the saddle. And that's not because you're doing something wrong, it's a survival response kicking in. But presence changes everything. It softens your body. It brings you back into a relationship with your horse and with yourself. It gives you choices. And I want to be really honest here. Being present is hard. It sounds very simple, but it's not easy, especially today. We live in a world that is constantly pulling us out of the moment. Our attention is being hijacked by phone notification, videos, messages, constant mental to-do list, right? And when we live in that high alert state, always half focus, always thinking ahead, our body forgets how to just be here. This is the reason I actually don't ride with my phone on me. I don't want to hear the messages of the buzzing or thinking about who sent me a message. I want to be there with my horse 100%. Now, I know if you like to trail ride, it's something else because the phone is very useful if something were to happen. But maybe try to change the pattern and leave your phone for a bit, maybe when you are with your horse in a more safe place. And riding requires full body awareness, subtle connection, and attunement. It might feel foreign if we haven't practiced it much. And that's a really key word, practice. Because presence is a skill. Just like riding transition, it takes repetition. And it takes compassion when you drift away. So if you find yourself getting distracted in the saddle or struggling to stay calm and focused, just remember, this doesn't mean you're not a good rider. It doesn't mean you don't love your horse. It simply means your system needs practice learning how to be here again. And you can start small, like notice your breath or feel your feet in your boots or orient to your surroundings before getting on. Or even practice short moments of presence on and off the horse. Because presence is like a muscle. The more you train it constantly, the stronger it becomes. And eventually, what once felt impossible, like staying calm during a spook or feeling steady while mounting, becomes second nature. And of course, your horse will feel it too, because when you are present, your energy softens, your seat becomes clearer, your intention becomes grounded. And that means the magic of connection really happens. So if you feel like your mind is racing in the saddle or that fear takes over before you can get a grip, come back to your body and be present again. And only from that place of safety can true presence and confidence begin to grow. Okay, so far we've talked about the first two pillars of confidence, which is number one, understanding why you're scared. As I mentioned, when fear shows up, it's not random, it's rooted in something. And when you begin to understand it or name it and honor where it came from, it loses some of its power and we can process our past events so they don't show up anymore. And pillar number two was learning to be present. Because if you're stuck in the past, replaying what went wrong, or constantly jumping to the future, imagining what could go wrong, you can't feel grounded in this particular moment with your horse. And presence is what lets you respond instead of react. But even with those two pillars in place, you still need something to hold it all together. Which brings me to pillar number three, which is having tools and strategies to support you. And tools are the glue to hold your awareness and your presence in place. Because it's one thing to know why you're scared, it's another thing to practice staying present. But when the fear hits you in real time, when your breath shortens, when your muscle tense and your mind races, you need something in your hands to reach for. So you need strategy to ground you, or a technique that brings you back, or a method that settles your mind. And this is where real change starts to happen. And I remember when I used to have panic attacks, I didn't know what to do at that moment. And that often came during the night. I used to watch YouTube in the morning to have some idea what to do, to quickly settle my anxiety. But it wasn't enough. What I really needed was a reliable technique, something I could return to every time anxiety hit. A strategy I had practiced before, so when panic came, I knew exactly what to do and could trust it would help. Because you can read every book, listen to every podcast, understand your trauma top to bottom. But if your body doesn't have tools to feel safe in the moment, you'll keep defaulting to survival mode. Strategies and tools are like muscles. The more you use them, the stronger they get. And when practice over time, they create kind of emotional muscle memory. So your body begins to know, even when I feel fear, I don't have to spiral. I know how to bring myself back. The tools become your safety net. They help you stay connected to yourself, to your breath, to your horse. And I've created a collection of proven strategies and techniques that you can use while you ride or while you are on the ground next to your horse. And these resources are specially crafted to help you manage anxiety, cultivate presence, and build a sense of safety and confidence in your body during your ride, a trail ride, either in the arena or outside. It's yours to keep after our session, so you're never left alone when you feel scared. And I'll give you an example. I worked with a lady who felt nervous to ride. So we took her time to understand what was behind her fear. And we processed those emotions and feeling quite safely. And the next day she went for a ride, and she did feel nervous about it. However, she used the strategy that she learned during a session, and she said it helped her stay focused and grounded. And she felt that the what ifs didn't even pop into her mind, which is great. And another client actually began using the same strategies outside of riding in everyday situations that had nothing to do with horses, but she found they helped her feel calm and grounded again. So let's just recap. The journey to confidence in the saddle isn't about pushing harder or pretending you're not scared or just riding through it. It's about building a foundation from the inside out through these 3 pillars. So number 1, understanding where your fear comes from and why it's there. Number 2, learning to be present so you can respond instead of react, even when things don't go to plan. And number 3 is practicing tools and strategies that help you stay grounded, calm, and connected, no matter what the ride throws at you. And if you don't know where to start, don't worry. That's exactly what I teach in my sessions. We practice all 3 pillars together, slowly and gently, until your body knows the way to regulate your emotions while understanding the reason behind your fear and helping you shift from fear to calm, which creates lasting confidence. Because, confidence doesn't mean being fearless. It means knowing how to support yourself, support your body, your mind, your nervous system, so you don't feel stuck or alone when fear shows up. And if this resonated with you today, if you've been nodding along and thinking, oh yeah, this is me, I want you to know you don't have to figure it out by yourself. I offer trauma-informed support to female equestrian all across Australia. We use online sessions via Zoom most of the time. So we take it very slow and according to your pace. And we work gently and safely and practically so that you can stop just managing your fear and start building a lasting embodied confidence, both on and off the horse. So if you'd like to explore what this could look like for you, I offer a free connection call. No pressure, it's just a chat. Comment the word ready or send me a private message and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next Thursday.